There is a dearth for good quality content in every field.
How does your full-time experience augment your freelancing career?
It helped me in terms of dealing with clients.
So what are the various jobs available in the freelancing for writers?
Really a lot of opportunity out there.
How to identify the right website that provides the real listings?
It boils down to how much research we can do before taking up or opting for that. Content is king.
Welcome to ICT Academy Dialogue. Today we have Ms. Sruthi Subramaniam, the freelance content writer. Welcome, ma'am. First of all, it interests me to ask why freelancing?
I was an experienced professional, but I'd quit to take care of my child. So I had some time on my hands, which I wanted to use very productively, having a lot of experience. So I started writing from my HR lens. So I had a career in HR. So I used that to write about experiences and stories of the latest developments in HR. And people started liking, people started reading it, and I felt there was a lot of scope for writing around HR related topics, and that's how it began. There is a dearth for good quality content in every field, and as we know, content is king. So that gave me a huge opportunity and foray into a freelance option. That's why.
So initially you started writing on your blogs?
I started writing on LinkedIn. Articles on it, initially on HR, and then interviewing people. So that led to a lot of opportunities coming my way. When people read, and you see people all the time on their mobiles today, everyone is catching up on content. And a lot of opportunities come when people read what you write about. If it strikes a chord with them, if it's relevant and sensible, that's a great way for creating your own opportunities.
So you primarily focus on HR related content, or you are into a variety of content?
So when I started off, I started with HR. That was the background I had come from. And then opportunities came in right from software up to manufacturing, consumer products. So a wide range of opportunities come up. If you have a good command over the language and you're able to listen well and you are interested in writing, you can write on several topics. If it's a different domain outside my HR domain, I would definitely need the client to give me a little bit of information about it. But I can write on all domains, and so can others. It doesn't have to be from the domain I came from.
So it's all about having an open mind to learn newer things
Definitely.
As you go on.
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, you learn so much more as a freelancer because each client is so unique. It's a totally different field, and so much more you have to research into the client, into the background, into the client's competitors, into the clients for the client. So you just learn so much.
So you have to traverse through different state of their business, the client's business, and understand what they require and deliver it, right? That's how you do it.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So it's a new learning experience. So when clients come to you, you do this way. If at all you have to pitch to different clients from different industries, what strategy should be adopted?
So, pitching to different clients, I think main is creating your own personal brand. The personal brand for a content writer will come about if the content writer is able to deliver solid, sensible content, because there's really a lack of it today. So the personal brand will make people aware and make it's like top of mind recall. Someone refers to another entrepreneur, to another freelancer. So it's word of mouth, there is word of mouth when you create a lot of content. So I have to create a lot of content myself, and that really helps. Pitching to different clients, could you just elaborate a little bit?
Pitching in the sense, proving your mettle to your client or convincing your client that you will be able to deliver what they require.
Okay, so that happens often when we're discussing at the initial stage, since clients also interact with a lot of others, and as a freelancer, I also interact with a lot of clients. Over time, you develop the sense of what they're looking for and whether you can deliver it or not. And with a little, maybe 2 meetings or 2 discussions, the client can also understand whether you can grasp basics of it or not. That's how it goes.
Okay. So were there times where you found it you cannot deliver something and you have put it straight across through the client that it will be better if they opt for someone else?
No.
No.
No, because you can do enough and more research. Thanks to the internet, you can read up on anything in the world today. And you can, like, if you have people who can help you understand the basics of a new field. So that should do. Also, clients are more than willing to help a content writer who's showing that kind of energy and interest to understand threadbare levels of that domain. It's not like they will, the client would be very happy if they see a content writer going deep in asking so many questions about it, because they know they will get a better output.
Initially, you told that you are into a full-time profession,
Yes.
and then later you switched to freelancing. So, how does your full-time experience augment your freelancing career?
For me, since I had 10 years of prior experience, it helped me in terms of dealing with clients, understanding how to interact with them, how to listen to what they want, how to do proper research and write. So it helped me. But then it does not always have to be so. Like, I don't have to have 10 years of experience in manufacturing to write something about it. I can always understand, and so can freelance content writers. Content writers can do that. I think it boils down to the interest in learning and being able to deliver a good, solid content at the end of the day. But it's also not essential to have so many years of experience or past experience. You see a lot of freshers or college students writing blogs and articles, and they also do a great job. It helps, yes, but you can do without experience as well.
If it helps, in what ways it helps?
Interacting with the client, understanding what the requirements are. Sometimes through experience, you learn that where you need to drill deep down to really get what they're saying. That comes with a little bit of experience also of having completed a few projects earlier. So that way it helps. One way to overcome the lack of experience is reading extensively. A fresher right out of college or someone who's not had work experience can, if that person really reads a lot, is a voracious reader, then their sense of being able to connect the dots, the different parts, will definitely be better. They will be able to link things and be able to write about it.
So, when it comes to reading, there is no particular stipulation that they have to concentrate on a particular subject. They must be reading whatever comes to their
Yes,
notice. Okay?
correct. Yes, right from the newspaper editorial section up to blogs on the internet.
Okay. It all adds up to their vocabulary and the way of expressions.
Yes, but having said that, vocabulary, you have to have good vocabulary, excellent command over the language, whichever language you're writing in. But the key is not to show off your knowledge of that language. The key is to write in such an engaging way that the end reader, the person reading the article, the blog, the website, or the case study, whatever it may be, is able to understand it without getting confused. So that's the key.
What are the other prerequisites for one to enter into freelancing as a writer?
Okay, so if you want to be a content writer as a freelancer, the base minimum is good command over the language. Without that, it's going to be tough. We've covered reading earlier. In addition, you need to have the patience to understand new domains, to put in effort, and being able to work independently. So freelancing is your time is yours. You can use it the way you want to, right? It's in your hands. So use the time, even if you're working alone. So make the best use of it and be able to research on your own, understand. These are the prerequisites.
Okay, so it's more about time management and staying on the track without any deviations, even if you are working alone.
Yes,
Okay,
definitely.
yeah, in a full-time job, we have the opportunity of being with people, and that will not get us easily distracted.
Oh, yes,
As a
true.
freelancer, it is all about the mettle of maintaining the time sense, right?
Yes,
So it will also help in delivering your work and as per the deadlines required by
yes.
the clients, right?
Yes, definitely. So, even though you have a good command over the language, you need to be able to find out the right word which will be appropriate in that context. So, a word may be correct in a different context, but you place that word in this domain. For example, you take a word which is often used in software and you just copy paste it thinking it's a great word to use and you put it into another domain, it may not fit the context well. So you should be able to discern what will work where. That comes by understanding what the client is saying, being very patient in listening, ask probing questions. Then you understand really, you get a sense. That will help.
So about having an open mind, time sense, language, and practice with patience.
Yes, sure.
So we've been talking about the prerequisites and essential skill set for being a freelance writer, and success is always measured in terms of money as well, right? So how lucrative it is as a to be a freelance writer when compared to full-time jobs?
Okay. Like every other field, if you're starting off in a new field, it may not be lucrative. Like an entry level position can never compete on salary with someone with a 20-year experience in the same profession.
Yeah.
So, in freelance content writing, specifically to content writing in freelance, initially there is a little bit of compromise on the way you price. But then as you build your brand, you will find clients willing to pay for really good quality content. Because as I said, it's very tough to get high quality, well researched, well articulated pieces which an end reader can very easily understand. So people are willing to pay. Clients are very open about that. But then you have to do your part of consistently writing, building your brand, sharpening your own skill through various ways. So there are a lot of students who also take up blog writing, article writing. So while for a student it is lucrative, as a professional, if you compare the same, it is not lucrative. People who write and who've created a brand, a lot of it depends on word of mouth, because you cannot. It depends on the trust between the client and the person writing, the content writer. So as you develop your brand, you will be known as a person who delivers on time, good quality content, and then you can quote what you think is appropriate for the time that you've invested in that activity.
So I have browsed through certain websites that provide a kind of charter. For India, your price list should start here,
Yeah.
and for US, that is a different kind of pricing. So when getting clients from all over the world, at some point in time, if I am building a brand that I start to get clients from all over the world, what should be the basis on which I should be pricing?
Yes, even I've gone through those articles on different prices depending on which country. But the range, it's like an open market here. So there is no real range. Like you said, entry level software developers' salary is between so many lakhs to so many lakhs. There is no such value identified in this field. So I don't think we can go by what we read. We will have to look at each one on how much their time they'll have to. What I understand even from others is that the way a few content writers I have been interacting with price is they look at how much time they will invest in completing this particular assignment and how much that time they normally charge for. And then there are so many other aspects like the level of research involved, the number of visits to the client's office. So many other factors will be also looked into, and then you can price the client. Also, the client's ability to pay.
So it has to be very nominal as well as prompt, right?
No, I don't think it has to. It depends on how much the content writer can deliver. It doesn't mean you have to underpitch or say that you're going to provide content at a very low price. How much, it really depends on how much time you're going to invest into it and how much that time is worth to you in terms of money. If you roughly translate that much of effort into a money component, that is one way you can pitch. So a global standard being given may not work for everyone.
When we talk about pricing, that is one other aspect, that pay per word. What is your take on that?
So paper word is very useful. The client can pay on the number of words that you deliver.
Okay.
But it depends on the context. Like if I'm going to write an article which is very simple, it's a very basic topic which does not involve much research, so that works perfectly there.
Okay.
Whereas if you're looking at at a website, creating content for a website, or writing for a book, a coffee table book, you want to sit with a client to understand what were the experiences that I'm trying to capture over here.
Okay.
Their pay per word, the client just paying by the number of words you write, won't work for both favorably if you go as a word.
Okay.
There you need to look at it as the number of hours you spend, the number of days. In different contexts, it will work.
Okay.
Pay per word, even in the word context where you're paying per word for an article, there also how much you charge per word should ideally vary on the depth of that topic, the amount of research involved.
Okay.
So there are so many factors involved in it.
So what are the various jobs available in the freelancing for writers?
There's a lot available. For good quality freelance writers, there are so many opportunities. Starts with simple blogs and articles. There is ghostwriting. There is writing for books, writing for case studies. There is communication that corporates would want for brochures, pamphlets. So all of this can be done. Then there's website content, web pages, a lot of this, and there's actually a lot more, like social media, handling the Instagram profile of a company or a product, where a lot of college students also do such work. Like there's really a lot of opportunity out there.
There are a lot of websites that list out these many opportunities are available with them. How to identify the right website that provides the real listings?
Yes, so these websites are very, very popular, the ones that provide freelance opportunities, and there are people who get very good lucrative deals through them.
Okay.
So it boils down to how much research we can do before taking up or opting for that. Do a little bit of research on the name of the client, what kind of work is involved, and their past history of payment. Some of the websites also provide that. So it works for a lot of people. It works. For me, LinkedIn has worked extremely well. There I get a lot of people who reach out through LinkedIn to me. So that is also a great opportunity provider.
You can build your network through
Yes.
one platform like LinkedIn.
Yes. I'm again going to touch upon the earlier point that it's about how much you can build your personal brand. Are you able to write? Like, are you posting articles on LinkedIn? Are you with reasonable gaps in articles? Like, are you able to post something to engage the people who are following you on every platform?
Okay.
That helps.
So building our own skill sets will fetch us more opportunity. That is one thing.
Yes.
And expressing those through this kind of social platforms.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So how consistent content is produced by a writer besides their future in this freelancing, right?
At least in the initial phases, certainly. Because you need to build that network, and very often it's word of mouth. So someone has worked with you and realizes that you are really doing a good job, they will refer it to someone else. So in the initial phases, certainly, yes.
So almost we are at the last question for this session. What are the factors that either makes or breaks a freelancing career?
See, the time that the freelancer is able to invest. If the freelancer is able to invest really a lot of time, he or she can scale the business very high and very fast, and have a team and really take it up to different levels. So the amount of time, even if the freelancer is as a single member working, let's say from home, a typical work from home freelancer, ad hoc projects as and when something comes up, even then the freelancer should be able to very diligently, conscientiously be able to stick to the job very dedicatedly. It's very easy to get distracted, so to avoid distractions, should be focused on the job. And also on planning. So if there are multiple projects coming all at the same time, a freelancer who may or may not have a team under him or her should be able to plan very smartly on executing and delivering on timelines. Timelines is key, because we realize that it's not just one article or one sheet of content that you submit. There will be a lot of iterations on it.
Okay.
So what you submit to the client will have a different view on it, may have, and most likely. No two people think perfectly the same way in the world, right?
Yeah.
There are always differences of opinion. So there will be iterations. So you have to factor all that in, plan very methodically to be able to successfully execute by the timeline.
Okay.
And timeline should be like sacrosanct. You should meet those.
Fine. And that was a brilliant interview with you. Now we'll have a rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
One leader that impacted you.
Mr. Girish Matrabodham, who's the CEO of Freshworks.
One key characteristic for every leader.
For me, it is a leader who's able to value their team members as well as work.
Your tip for being best writer.
Keep on and on writing.
And the last one, your favorite book and the author.
I like Angela Duckworth's Grit. That book is really, really nice.
Okay, that was a good interview with you. Thank you for being on our sets today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bashir.
That was ICT Academy Dialogue with Ms. Sruthi Subramaniam, the freelance content writer. Stay tuned with us. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Insta and Facebook. Thank you.